Okay, time for a new video, and whether you are somebody new to my channel or you are returning to my channel to watch this video, it is greatly appreciated. As always, I'm filming this video in one go, so if I stumble over my words moving forwards, apologies about that, and also apologies if the quality of this video is not too great either. If there's any lag, anything like that at all, sadly it can't be helped, and hopefully it is not much of an issue for you. This is yet another Eurovision 2024 related video here on my channel, and another Melodifestivalen 2024 related video here on my channel, because right now I'm about to listen for the first time to snippets of all of the songs involved in Heat 5 of this year's edition of Melfest, which, as we all know, is the Swedish selection show for the Eurovision Song Contest. And this year's ESC takes place this May for a third time in Malmö, Sweden. As always, you are welcome to let me know your thoughts on anything I discussed today by leaving a comment down below. And as always, there are links in the description to my other social media pages. Check them out if you so wish. So as I'm recording this video you're watching now, it is the 29th of February 2024, and there will be, all being well, 3 more videos coming your way from me today, because we are getting the release of the Cypriot track, the Swiss entry, which as I'm talking to you now has been released, and the Dutch song. So I will be filming reaction type videos to those songs later on in the day. I should warn you that due to time constraints, all these videos might feel a little bit more rushed than usual. It is what it is. Hopefully they won't turn out too bad. But right now, let's focus on this year's host nation, Sweden. So, before we take a look at Heat 5, which consists of 6 more acts taking to the stage, this time in Karlstad, and the brand new second chance round runoff vote, let's reflect on last week's Heat 4 in Eskilstuna, I believe it was. Yes, bear with me. Like I said, if there's any lag, apologies. So, finishing last in Heat 4, 5th in the second round of voting with 48 points, but getting the maximum of 12 from the telephone vote, was Lasse Stefans, which I believe is the name of the band and not the name of the lead singer, with En sång om sommaren in the Swedish language. Now, what have I written here? This was slightly country and western in terms of its vibe. Simple but nicely done. I stayed with it. It was pleasant enough, but it was also fairly dated, and this type of stuff never really does that well at Melfest, or indeed, I suppose, at any national final if we end up with a song like this. So it finishing last came as no surprise to me, and perhaps no surprise to you either. But like I said, I did watch the whole performance several days ago now, and I thought it was perfectly fine. They were all on slightly raised wooden platforms, if I remember, all having a good time. There was an image of some sort of wheat field on the backdrop, if I remember correctly. I've written nothing else about this. Lasse Stefans did receive an 8 from 16 to 29-year-olds, which is perhaps a bit surprising. But otherwise, you know, this was always likely to finish last. We move on, 4th place in the second round of voting, missing out on the runoff vote this week, 49 points, 30 kilometers an hour by Leah Larsson. This received 12 from 3 to 9-year-olds, who I'm still not sure have an amazing concept of Melfest, but there we are, being so young. Anyway, I did enjoy this for what it was. She was in a pink outfit. She had dancers in more orangey looking outfits, which I wasn't keen on at all. This was harmless fun, up-tempo. Again, they were having a good time, little bit of choreography. At one stage, this veered into some sort of bass hunter song, if you know what I mean. This throbbing beat. We had lyrics on the backdrop, lots of yellow. At one stage, she was sort of interacting with a car on the screen behind her. Again, you'll know what I'm on about if you've seen the performance. Yeah, this wasn't bad at all. I don't know the English translation of the lyrics, but I did read a comment or two several days ago suggesting that they were a bit on the silly side, and that's maybe why she didn't progress. But there we are. Going through to the runoff second chance round at the end of this week, we have Scarlett with Circus X, and this received the maximum 12 from 30 to 44-year-olds. Fair enough. At the start, one of the women, because it's a female duo of course, one of the women was sitting on the swing with a red balloon, very it, again if you know what I'm on about. This was clearly going for a sort of dramatic, theatrical approach, very gothic in style. I wanted to like this more than I did, in all honesty. If anything, it became a bit too predictable, the way it moved along. I was hoping for something a little bit more unique, a little bit more fresh. We didn't really get that, in my opinion. But I still enjoyed this for what it was. We had strobe lighting at one point. Could be a bit more dynamic, I've written here. The verses lacked oomph. The chorus was stronger, in my personal opinion. It all felt a tad disjointed. And at the end, it became more rock in sound, for some reason. Anyway, there we go. Scarlet with Circus X. I'm chuffed that we had a song like this in Melfest, and I'm glad it's through to the runoff vote at the very least, but I don't see it making the final. In second place in the second round of voting with 63 points was Albin Tingval with Done Getting Over You, and he had the maximum 12 points from 75-plus-year-olds. Okay, this was really quite basic. He sounded a bit flat at times, in my personal opinion. The backdrop was fairly colourful. I think it was some sort of holographic effect they were going for. I'm not entirely sure. He was casually dressed. Couple of dancers with him. I think the same dancers that Anton Ewald had a few years ago. The chorus, somewhat uninspired. There was a tad bit of momentum here, but nothing major. And it needed more energy on the whole. This was executed in a very casual manner, but then again I suppose it's a fairly casual, somewhat low-key song. I don't know. This is not the sort of thing Sweden should be sending to Eurovision, and he's got to progress through the runoff vote this week, and I don't see that happening. Going through, though, to the final in Stockholm 2 weeks from now, we have Dotter with It's Not Easy to Write a Love Song. We all know about her. She's been in Melfest a bunch of times, nearly won Melfest in 2020. This wasn't bad, but in all honesty, I'm not really on the hype train for this, and I would say there is a reasonable amount of hype for this song. Certainly coming into last week's fourth heat, quite a few people on social media were really revved up to see what Dotter was going to bring to the table. And we've ended up with this. It's a ballad. There's a piano on stage which isn't played. She's in a sort of ragged grey outfit. I believe she wrote this song with her husband, which is quite nice. Her voice is lovely. At the start, she's looking straight into camera. The song didn't warm up for a while, and to be honest, it doesn't warm up a great deal, but it's still fine. The song ends somewhat abruptly, not her strongest. Absolutely, I stick by that. She might be my personal winner of this year's Melfest, in all honesty, because this year's lineup, oof, it is a bit on the stinky side, there's no doubt about it. But I wouldn't say that this is exactly, you know, top quality. It's getting there, but I wouldn't say that this is really bowling me over. The winner of this heat, Jesus Wept. It was Danny Salcedo with Happy That You Found Me. Again, we know all about Danny. He's been a runner-up twice in the past at Melfest. He came back a few years ago, made the final. He's in the final again with this song. He was on last in the running order, went straight through to the final. Now, I don't know about you, but I thought this was all right. But my God, a winner of a Melfest heat. I think that speaks volumes about the quality we're getting, because this was bang average, dear viewers, bang average. It sounded a bit like Swedish House Mafia to me. He had archways and steps on stage, which then sort of disappeared as the song progressed, and at one point we had all of these colourful projections behind him and what have you. I found this a bit cheesy. I found it incredibly uninspired. It's almost as if he sat in a room with his fellow songwriters and tried to come up with the most basic song imaginable. It's very radio friendly, but I didn't really stay engaged with this at all. I thought it was so underwhelming. He was also casually dressed. This was lacking energy, in my opinion, and oh man, I just found this so disappointing. The winner of this heat. Wow. Okay. It had a slight uplifting tone to it, no doubt about that. I've written nothing else about this particular song. It's not a tune that I think I'll be revisiting anytime soon, let's put it that way. Anyway, we move ahead to Heat 5, which will take place this weekend in Karlstad. 6 more acts taking to the stage, 2 of which will go through to the run-off vote. And I believe in the run-off vote, all of the votes from the previous heats are carried across and added to the votes that we'll get this weekend. At least that's what I think I'm understanding here. Anyway, I'll briefly go through that in a moment. But firstly, let's focus on the brand new tracks. We have Unforgettable by Marcus and Martinus. We know about them. They won MGP Junior in Norway years ago. They are Norwegian. And they were runners-up behind Loreen last year. So this could well be their time. Controller by Chelsea Muko. Or Muko, not entirely sure. Back to My Roots by Jay Smith. He won Swedish Idol in 2010. Has released music recently, but I think things have quietened down for him in recent times. Banamai by Elektra, who was on Sweden's version of Drag Race. Light by Annika Vicky Halder, who might be the most unknown name here. And Que Sera by Medina, who are a sort of hip-hop duo with Arabic influences, and a few years ago they finished 3rd in Melfest. So I'm on the SVT Play website. What I'm watching won't be in the bottom corner of the video you're watching, but these aren't music videos anyway. Hopefully there won't be any lag, but if there is, apologies again. As always, I am going to go from the song I'm least interested in to the song I am most interested in. So we're going to begin with Elektra and Banner Mai. Here we go. These are 1 minute long snippets. Let's see what this heat has in store for us. Let me know your thoughts as always. I think it's just loading up here. Bear with me. Hopefully we're not going to be going at a snail's pace. That would be incredibly annoying. Aha, here we go, here we go. It's getting there, dear viewers, it's getting there. There they are. Wow, I thought it was Gunter for a second. Oh, wow. Wow. This is quite something. Why is their voice so very deep? This is quite throwback. Reminds me of After Dark, if you remember them in Melfest. I suppose it's a fairly hopeful-sounding pop song. But it's not really my thing. I'll be honest. Not really my thing. I found that to be maybe a little bit too dated. But, you know, that's not much of a criticism at all. I'm sure the crowd will love it. We move on to Controller by Chelsea. Anders Rethoff has co-written this. Let's give it a listen. Right, so this is more in the R&B vein. Well, this isn't too bad. Again, fairly hopeful in sound. Keep working it. It's easy to go along with this. I'm not sure it's a qualifier, but it's not too bad. Oh yeah. I'm really liking the chilled out vibe of this one. Yes, not bad at all. Not bad at all. Quite nice. Let's move on to Jay Smith with Back to My Roots. Here we go. I think this might be fairly simple. Ooh. He has a bit of a raspy voice. Yeah, this is quite simple. It's giving off The Shires, if you're familiar with their music. Dan and Shay. Yeah, easygoing pop. This isn't winning, but it's not too bad. Back to my roots now, baby. Yes, indeed. I pressed the wrong button like an absolute plonker. Not bad, not bad. Again, that's 3 songs now, and they all give off this sort of hopeful vibe, you know? Anyway, we move on to Annika Vickyhalder with Light. And this is written by Herman Gardafe and Patrick Jean, both of whom were involved with the Mamas song a few years ago, I believe. Here we go. Okay. This sort of ticking guitar sound. Ooh. Bringing a touch of drama. Okay, it's building ever so slightly. Okay, I think we're going to get a fairly euphoric sounding chorus. That's not going to be in this snippet though. Yeah, that's not too bad either. Not sure it's progressing though. That leaves the 2 big hitters, and we'll check out Medina first with Que Sera. If this is in the Swedish language, which I believe it is, we can rule it out winning, because come on, Sweden sending a song in Swedish, pigs might fly. But let's check it out. You never know, things might change this year. Okay. Is that some sort of ukulele sound there? Oh! This is the sort of song that you can imagine hearing on the beach. Bailando, is he saying? I'm not usually into this sort of thing, I must say. But you can't deny it does sort of put a smile on your face, you know? Oh, wow. Get ready for the World Cup, because it's a World Cup song. Oh, the crowd will go big for this one. That's the end of the snippet, my goodness. Not a million miles away from Ini Diman, in all honesty. That definitely struck me as a sort of World Cup anthem. Absolutely. Which is no bad thing. Yes, that's definitely going through. And here we have the favourite to win Melfest. Is it bang average? Is it basic as all hell? Yes, it probably is. But this is Sweden. I'm looking at the songwriters here. Jimmy Thernfeldt, who's also worked on the Austrian entry this year. Joy Deb and Linnea Deb. Big songwriting team. Marcus and Martinus, unforgettable. Oh my god. I mean, this is a bit similar to last year's entry. The juries, if this goes to Eurovision, you just know the juries will eat this up. Never rule out Sweden at Eurovision. Not really. This will be... yeah, I mean, this will be a pretty slick performance, I'd imagine. She is unforgettable. Very radio-friendly, quite current. This goes to Eurovision, the juries will love it. And the public might do as well. This is the chorus then. Wow. Okay. So that seems like it's going to be a song where the chorus maybe is a bit underwhelming. Okay, not a million miles away from what they were bringing to the table last year, actually. Nothing massively different there, in my opinion, but then again, it was only 58 seconds long. So, based on that, Jesus, this year's Melfest, very underwhelming, it must be said. I'm tempted to say my favourite is Maria Sur, but she couldn't even win her own heat, so it doesn't bode well for Stockholm. Marcus and Martinez are winning by a mile, followed by Medina, and then in the second chance round runoff vote, I would say, I think it's probably going to be Jay Smith and maybe Electra, with Chelsea 5th and Annika 6th. Let me briefly go through the second chance round. Elisa Lindström, Forever Yours. That's a fairly basic track, but I like it very much. Adam Woods with Supernatural, absolutely bang average, don't see that going through. Dear Sarah with The Silence After You, it's nothing original, but I liked the performance and I like her voice, I wish her well. Fröken Snusk with Unga och Fria, that should be winning this runoff vote, in all honesty. It's doing very well in terms of streaming numbers in Sweden, and I'd be very surprised if that didn't progress as one of the top two here. Not a bad song, quite up-tempo. Fördai by Cloudy, I'm amazed that's even here, I don't think it stands much of a chance. I Won't Shake Lala Gunilla by Gunilla Persson, that might do it. That might do it. It's not the most amazing song, it's maybe a tad on the silly side, but it's catchy. Can't rule it out doing fairly well. Done Getting Over You by Albin Tingvall, I don't see that progressing myself. And Circus X by Scarlett, maybe, but that song might be let down because, you know, it didn't go through directly to the final. And although the age range voting isn't being used for this runoff vote, you know, it did get a low score from 75-year-olds plus. Young viewers maybe weren't that keen on it either. So taking that into consideration a little bit, I don't see Circus X progressing. Anyway, that's all I've really got to say. This video's been a lot longer than I expected it to be. Apologies for rambling, but let me know your thoughts on the Heat 5 songs of this year's Melodifestivalen. Overall, I would say Melfest this year has been a big disappointment, but you cannot rule out Sweden getting another top 5, top 6 result this year. Marcus and Martinez, I've only heard 58 seconds like we all have so far, but that strikes me as a song that could very easily finish high up on the scoreboard this year. They are the favourites to win. It is what it is. Until next time, and there are 3 more videos coming your way, all being well today, so keep your eyes peeled for them if you're at all interested. Until next time, take care of yourselves, stay safe, and bye for now.